All right. So you write the four categories, three lines: faith, family, fitness, finance. And it really needs to be in that order of significance. All right. So we're going to find your rocks. So this is called the jar of life. This is a little Tony sitting over there. And we can empty Tony out and start with just rocks. Is this full? Is this jar full? What do you think, Sean? Is this
No,
a
it's
full
not.
jar? Have you heard this analogy?
Huh?
Have you heard this story before
I've
about the jar?
heard. I know I know what you're getting. I've seen something like it before. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So, what are your rocks? Let's fill your jar. Is the story goes that you have the rocks, and then the professor pulls out the pebbles and pulls those in, and the pebbles fill the cracks and crevices of the rocks. And then you have the sand that comes and fills the cracks and crevices of the pebbles and the rocks. So the thing is that this is the story of life, right? So too many of us are letting the sand fill up our jars. And now the rocks don't actually fit. The pebbles don't even fit. It's just a bunch of sand. And the most important things in our lives don't get fulfilled on. Do you understand what I'm saying?
With you so far?
Okay. So you guys are going to need to find out what inspires you. Is it fast cars? Is it a lot of women? Is it partying? Or is it buying a house? Is it getting married? Is it having children? Is it being respected in your communities? Is it being an amazing mentor and having leadership here in your career? You have to find out what inspires you and then reverse engineer it, because with knowing all of these things, it makes no difference. There has to be something in the game that is going to make sure that you take the actions, because to be your $1 million self, you're really going to need to have an anchor. And I've done a lot of work to find mine. This is going to be different for every person, but this is mine. I want to be in amazing shape. I want to have fun and I want to have friends. I want to be celebrating together. I want to have a leadership component where I get to lead the people from the eye of the needle that I've already been through. I want to inspire other people and partner up. This is not from a bottom or from a top down. This is from a bottom up perspective. I want to see others win. I want to cheer them on. I want to be present with my kids. I want to take them on vacations. I want to be inspired by nice things. You don't have to be ashamed of not liking nice things. And I want to be grateful, and I want to be in love and have intimacy in my life. So these are all things that fire me up. You guys firing me up. Thinking about all the people that you guys impact in your life and who you are, having being a part of your leadership, the ripple effect, the butterfly effect that this causes. That's what got me up this morning, jumping out of bed saying they need me. So you need to find your $1 million self, your $100,000 self, your $5 million self, your $100 million self. Not what goals that you would have to do. That is the goal, right? It's just being that type of person. It doesn't mean that you have those assets. It means that you are a certain part of that, because it's not about what you have, it's about who you're becoming in the process, right? So, what disciplines or actions would your best self be taking on a daily, weekly, monthly, and annual basis? I'll let you guys go ahead and start writing those disciplines down. Focus on what you can control, not the goals and outcomes, but the disciplines and actions in these four categories. So for me, I need to go to church. I need to drop my kids off. I need to pick them up. These are things that are non-negotiable. They're already scheduled. And if I want them to be present in my life, I have to work around those things. Those are my big rocks. So it should look a little bit something like this: faith, family, fitness, finances. Find out what they are, and then you can find out how long it's going to take you to do each one. And then you can go down the list from the ones that are solid and not able to be rescheduled. Like that's just what time of the week, year, month that they are. And then the ones that are shifting or able to be shifted, doesn't mean that they're any less significant in your life. It just means that they're pebbles and they're able to fit in the cracks and crevices. So find out what those are.
Okay.
I'll wait while you guys make a significant list of things,
Um,
how long they're going to take, and where at in the week you would actually schedule them. You guys can still keep on working, but somebody want to share one thing that they know their best self should be doing?
eating healthy.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
The finances one, I guess I could say saving money, but that's not like you said. Focus on goals, not or not. You said don't focus on outcomes. So I mean, I guess I can say that that's I would
You
put that in
do
five.
you do want to have some goal or thing that you're shooting for, but you can't
Right.
control it, right? So
That's what
this
I
is
yeah,
like,
that's what you said. Don't focus on the yeah. Okay,
if you
okay.
do, so we're gonna reverse. This is based off of the goal, right? So the $100,000 Sean is gonna be having some kind of saved up money, right?
Yeah.
So what would it take to get there is it would take, putting a certain amount to the side on a consistent basis. So,
Hmm.
hey, what could I set to the side on a weekly basis, or maybe it's just a monthly basis? What's that number? And it's just like, okay, well, set $100 to the side once a month. By the end of the year, I got 1,200 bucks, or
Right.
weekly or whatever. But that's the discipline, right? Is
Right.
set the number, set how frequently it's going to be, and then that's what I'm talking about, is the discipline versus the goal.
Okay.
Breaking, basically having the goal in mind and then breaking it down for what it would take in a realistic manner. For me, I want to be disciplined, and I know meditation creates that, and it is in the faith column. It's also in the fitness column because you're talking about mental health, but really I consider that on my faith. So I have a 20-minute meditation that I do. They're a little bit different, ones in the morning, ones in the evening. And it's easy to do, but it's easy not to do, So like it normally doesn't get done. So, but if I put it in existence, it actually exists. and we're gonna come back to this, okay? So keep on working. But really, it's like, okay, now we have all this in concept. Knowing that we should eat and work out really makes no difference. Tony,
Yeah.
what's something in your life that you know you should be doing?
I need to, well, I need to be more present with my family. That's a big thing. You know,
Have
it's
you known this, or is this something that you're just finding out?
no, this is a known thing.
Yeah, and
This
what's keeping you from that?
I
Is
just
it the
bog
sand?
myself down. Yeah, bog myself
It's
down with
just
the day to day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we do. That's how the sand shows up, right?
Yep.
It's just like kicking the can, knowing
Yep.
that this is the most important thing in your life and it's
Right.
not getting done, then how are we showing up? We're not really present because we're not fully stimulated. We're not fully taken care of on a spiritual level, on a family level.
Yep.
So these are the pillars that we need to actually cultivate. So we need to put it in our existence system. This does not exist in our head of a cool, I'll do that. I don't trust myself
Yep.
because I'm gonna forget. I got too much going on. So I need to set alarms and put it inside of my Google Calendar. And we're about to do a master class on how to actually schedule and block schedule and stack multiple rocks in
Yep.
one space. And then where the pebbles fit logistically, how do we group them together to make sure that all of these things are actually happening? Because we're not getting a bigger jar.
Yeah.
So this is what my schedule looks like. Pretty freaking nuts. I'm waking up at 4 a.m. and I'm doing a 20-minute meditation, which means I got a 10-minute buffer there, which is scary because the amount of things I can get distracted with 10 minutes. And then I have to go right into my workout in the morning. I do 50 push-ups, and that's all I'm held myself responsible for right now. Tony Robbins goes and trains snipers, never shot a gun in his life, and he has to figure out a transitional process to train these guys. And what does he do? He figures, hey, I need to build up their confidence. So come over here and stick the barrel of this gun right against and touch the target and pull the trigger. Bang. There is zero chance that they're going to get it wrong. So the trick is to not be your biggest bully like I am to myself. And when you don't hit these things, it's still okay. You're still worthy. We still love you. It's just about picking it up and doing more of these things than less of these things and picking up and just doing what you can with what you got and not being perfect. Forgiving yourself for not, and then realizing what is keeping you from taking the actions. Are you not stimulated? Are the act or is the goal not big enough? Is it not going to get you to play out fully? Because I'll tell you this much, guys. October 30th. Uh Halloween is on the 31st, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so October 30th, 2018. I was working at Publix warehouse and I yearned for a culture like we have here. I wanted to be stimulated other than just working. I wanted to be a part of something that's bigger than me. And I couldn't find it. And I literally was planning to off myself. I was going through a divorce. I hated who I was. I hated the results of the life that I was at. And I figured it was better, it was easier to just be done with it than to build. And I was planning all of these things. And thank God my cousin called me and raced across from Bradenton all the way up to Brandon, swerving the whole way because he was drunk and drinking his life away. And we kind of interrupted each other's lives, shook things up. And it was a Tony Robbins quote that said, hey, At your lowest point, you got to say what's great about this. And I realized that I had all this opportunity in my space to cater to somebody that was in my place at that time. Say, hey, how amazing could life be? What if I actually had a life worth living? What if I had an amazing life that I get to live all out because of this experience? And I've lost sight of that recently. I've gotten refocused on why I started this business in the first place. It's about who you guys are for the other people in your life. Why would you be here if you didn't have a personal life? You wouldn't. And I want to help you guys cater to your personal life so you have all of that squared away. And I need you guys to have that squared away in order to be fully present here, in order to be fully active here. So, what are the things in your life that you need to put in place? What are the things? Maybe it's church, maybe it's eating. If you're going to eat good, okay, well, I scheduled my eating windows and I have alarms set a little bit before so I can make sure that I take care of the logistics to be somewhere or heat up my food or whatever I'm doing. But if you see that first day, Sunday, I'm going to church and then I'm going grocery shopping and then I'm going to food prep to make sure that all of my meals are thought of prior to. And then that way, when it's time to eat, I don't have to deal with a lot of choices and decisions. It's already set up, and I've set the time to the side to actually plan out the things that to carry on. So it's easier to do than not to do. And I'm not missing out on anything. I'm getting to be present with you guys. I get to play full out, work your face off from 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. I'm always working, right? I don't turn off, but how do I be more present for my kids? Well, I feel like I gave everything I had in that time window, and then I go and give all of my time to my kids. But not only that, I need to work out, and I can't do it in the mornings. I have my kids some days, I don't have them other days. I don't really have the thing. Like there's all these excuses, and they're just like, okay, well, what can I do? Well, I'm going bowling on Tuesdays. That's a staple. That's a big rock for me. So that's been in my calendar. But now all these other things that are important to me, why are they not in my calendar? Why is date night not in my calendar? Oh, you should be spontaneous and you should just want to do these things for me. Like, well, I'm a busy guy. You want me to be broke or busy? What you want? I have to actually schedule my daughter's soccer games on Saturday. I don't want to miss those. Those are important to me that I'm there and she feels supported throughout her whole life. I remember my dad being there every chance he get and giving all his effort. So what are the things in your life? Put them in. Even if it's not solid, like you see the green, it says work your face off. There's no really like one thing. The only thing that I'm actually doing in that time window is a sales power hour, which I'm the only salesman, so it's a meeting with myself, but I'm hiring Chris in the next few weeks. So that's what it's already scheduled out. That's important to me that I feed in and train. And then I have you guys every Friday for soft skills that I'm going to be part of the production team. I don't want to be too far away from you. I want to be a part of what you guys have going on. And I want to stay this 1 o'clock meeting that stays in my schedule, even though I get double booked and I have to shift it. When you're up to a lot of things in life, that's the thing is things are going to shift and you're going to drop some balls. If you're juggling 38 things and 8 fall, okay, you got 30 things. That's amazing. It's better than playing small and only doing 10 and getting them all. That's why we have tools like Landmark to come in and recreate our integrity with people. It's all in communication. I know Sean and Melvin, you guys have not experienced that course yet, but that's part of the leadership process is you going and getting some of these tools in your toolkit for who you're becoming in the process of being part of this team. It's not about just getting some money and going home. This is about like us really doing everything in our power to lead you guys to be your best self and us keeping our promise. So what are you going to do to eat better, Sean? Are you going to schedule something? What would you schedule?
It's mainly breakfast that I'm concerned about because I eat like I don't know if you guys see me every morning, but I usually have McDonald's and like that's kind of like just not healthy all the time. Where I could just eat, like I could make a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit at home, and it's probably better off. It saved me money in the first place, and it'll save me time too, probably. And it's just healthier. I don't think McDonald's is healthy to begin with.
Well, what would you actually have to do to make that happen? Would you have to go grocery shopping and get all the supplies?
Yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
would
That's part
when
of
would
it.
when would you find time to do that? Would it be like in the afternoon after work, or would it be on the
That's
weekends?
usually me and my girl go either after work one day during the week, or we go during the day on the weekends one day, usually Sunday.
Is it something that you guys plan for, or you guys wait until you guys are like kind of out of food?
No, we plan it. We realize, where we're getting to, and like, all right, either tomorrow or the next day we're gonna go, and yeah.
Got it. So are you gonna make a list for these supplies, or are you gonna like kind of just go down the aisle and kind of just see what's available and kind of put
I need to start making a list. So I used to do that a lot. My girl does that most, but most of the time, if I go by myself, I'm just going and looking. It's probably better off to make a list though, because you're not gonna be searching for other things, get caught up or get
yeah.
off track.
Okay. So now it's like now it's this is part of it, okay? So
Mhm.
now you got to go grocery shopping and you put it on your schedule and then you get there and you're like, "Oh man, I don't know if I have this in the cabinet or not. I don't know if I have this." And you get it and you got double now.
Yeah,
You're like, "Oh, I think I got some left," and you don't get it.
I ain't
So
got nothing.
now it's a second task called check what I need, inventory. Now,
Hmm.
like, make a little list of everything that I need. And then, like, now you get inspired because now you got time to think about what's going to be in your omelet or what's going to be in the, oh, I could make the egg muffins, and I could put all kinds of
Right.
stuff in the thing. What now I'm going to be cooking at home. I'm going to have all these things. It's going to save money. It's going to cost time. Who's doing the dishes? Now I need to wake up a little bit earlier to make sure I can clean the dishes after I eat or before I leave, because now I don't want to leave them in the sink because I'm going to get yelled at, and make sure that I'm catering to my relationship. And now I'm, being thoughtful around all four categories at the same time, and they all four exist across, my life. But
Mhm.
it's the type of rocks that you're putting in. Some are blue, some are red, some are yellow. Not really, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So now, with all those things in thought process and actually scheduling them and opening up your Google Calendar, what would you put in place? Are you going to have to negotiate with your girlfriend before you schedule your groceries? I get that, but when would you make the list?
Probably a day or two before. Probably a day. Start it a day before, and then just check it before I go, and then add anything before we head out.
Awesome. I think that's a solid plan.
Yeah.
And that's just, one rock.
Hmm.
And then like, what are you going to have to get up earlier?
No, because I mean, if I do it on the weekends, it doesn't really matter when we go. And
No,
at
I'm
night,
saying like to cook. Are you gonna prep beforehand, or are you
well,
gonna
yeah,
cook every
yeah.
morning?
I'd probably have to wake up about 15 minutes earlier. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So now you would have to change your alarms and make sure that you're doing that and not getting sidetracked.
right.
Change up your routine. And this is the part that like is hard because it's not, it doesn't feel natural to us. It feels
Mhm.
like it's easier to not do it, or easier, just go hit McDonald's. And then you're like stuck
Yeah.
in this mundane cycle that you can't get out. It's called the vicious cycle. And you're
Hmm.
just like kind of in this, oh my God, how do I get off this ride?
Right. Exactly.
And I know we've been working a lot lately and we don't really talk about these things, but these are the things that are the most important in our lives. If we're not taking care of each other, then are we really living our core values?
No, sir.
All right, what's up, Jeff? Are you working over there? Are you driving? What are you doing?
I didn't mean to stop my video. I meant to just put it on mute.
No, you're good. What do you got going on? What are you working on disciplines or actions that you should put in place?
Stuff and things. Set up my direct deposit.
Mm.
Talking about, what am I gonna do to get out of some of the things that I'm in? So just more or less short
So-
term shit,
Well,
not really long
so
term at this point.
so this is also part of it. Is like, okay, well, we have the repeat things, right? So I'm gonna meditate, I'm gonna work out every day, but also it's like, okay, for me specifically, or for you guys, like, hey, you got a project. Once you're done with that project, it doesn't repeat, but the one
No,
o'clock meeting repeats. You know what I'm saying? The 6 a.m. meeting repeats.
no.
Maybe.
See, there's a lot of things that I got to do right now so I can get that constant daily pattern. Because right now, unless I have some things change in my life, that that calendar is not going to work for me because everything changes so often. I have to settle some shit down and calm some shit down before.
Correct.
Because right,
Yeah. You have your one-time projects that once you complete them, like once you teach the puppy to walk, then it walks. You don't have to teach it to walk again, you know? So now you got your puppy walking, you move on to the next puppy, you know? So those are the other projects where you could just schedule out a block of time and you don't know how long these projects are going to take, but you have 15 of them. And this block of time is solely set to the side so I can get into a state of being to attack those projects. I got to get my taxes turned in. I got to have this project where I'm building a fence for my on my property. I'm I don't know, for me, it's like marketing campaigns, or I just ended up, completing this slideshow for you guys. So now it's done. I don't have to create it again. It already exists. I'm recording this video right now so I can share this with someone else and hopefully they get something out of hearing us share it. So they could be creating this and actually scheduling it in their calendar. So can I count on you guys that you aren't going to just stop here and cool story, bro? I'm inspired for the moment, but it's going to fizzle out as soon as we leave here in about 2 hours. What is it going to take for you to become your best self? You're not getting what you're not tracking. This is a way to track it. If we're getting outside of our concerns about what it's going to take and our concerns about what it is going to happen if we don't do these things that we said we were going to do, then we're kind of, it doesn't matter. Let's just put it in place and we're more likely that it's going to get done than it's not going to get done. I understand, Sean, you have something that has another party that you need to go and talk with before and negotiate time schedules before you can actually put it in your schedule. So now, okay, you have these time slots that it could exist, and that's called your pebbles. But what we're talking about is like the null and void things that have to happen at this time, or projects that consist of prior projects to exist. So, okay, well, before we can do this, we have to do that. Well, now that's a pebble because now it has to fit in after this rock or it might be another big rock, but you can't fit it in till you get this one chiseled down. So this is how the jar works. You only have so much time. The same amount of time is passing by anyways. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to be your best self, or are you just going to be mediocre? Actually start opening your calendar and scheduling everything that you need to be doing. The things that you know you should, put them in existence. Schedule the time, get other people involved, and get to work on yourself. It's right here in front of you. The human condition, we are all creatures of habit, and we don't get what we want out of life because we're not doing the tasks that we ourselves deem worthy of living our dream life. There is no easy button or pill. The work needs doing. Give yourself a gift and be the person that has done the work that deserves to be the $5 million self. And how you guys can get there is work on your leadership and soft skills. Become so present with what you need as your anchors in your personal life that allow you to be so present while you're here, because now it'll give you the budget to feed off of each other. Energy and money, finances and your spiritual connection, the way that your body works, and your relationships. All of these things are intertwined with each other, and they all start to feed in and bleed into each other to create who you are and your experience with what life is for you. Tony.
Yep.
Have you scheduled anything? Are you scheduling anything?
Yeah, I have some stuff scheduled.
What did you schedule since we've been on the call?
So I'm scheduling time a couple times a week to reach out to my mom and some of my other extended family, and also just friends. I let that stuff fall off the calendar. I started last week scheduling 4 days a week to go to the gym, on top of like you mentioned, the bowling, and then one day every other week with Ashley to go bowling also. So
Nice.
that way we kind of get that time together, and also it's good for both of us to be working out.
You can
I
stay on the
also
rocks, man. It's
yeah
awesome.
yeah I've also been talking about for a while, but I'm actually going to get scheduled specific timelines to pay off some of the things that I owe money to, and try to get that stuff in order, because a lot of it I've just been ignoring for a long time. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't need that bill right now anyway. And it's irresponsible to let myself get sent to collections for something that I could pay off.
Well, not only that, but we lose a lot of energy that we don't realize by keeping tabs open. And what I
Yep.
mean by that is, like, we get this thing that we should be doing, and then we're like, not now. We let the sand kind of build up, and even though it's a pebble, we kind of just like, we let it fall. And then now it's been 2 weeks, and it's like this. Once in a while, you'll get this like little flutter. Oh, I should do that. And then you're driving, or you're on the phone with somebody else, or you're doing something. You got a gutter in your hand, whatever.
Yep.
And now you forget, like, oh yeah, what I was supposed to do? I got all this time. Oh, yeah, whatever. I'll just do this and that, and then on with life, right? So that tab never really stays closed, though, because if you're not closing it, it's opportunity for you to be stumbled and thrown back. So what we talk about is the word unfuckwithable.
Yeah.
And if you're really being unfuckwithable, that's what you would say is your best self, right? Somebody's unleashed as a force of nature out here in the world, taking results by demand, no matter what the circumstances are. If we're taking that kind of integrity with our lives, then we're going to start closing all these little tabs as they come up. And the longer we're able to get on back on the horse when we get knocked down, is the further along the race we're going to be. Usually when we say, oh, I didn't do that. Oh man, poor me. Oh, I guess I just won't do it because it's easier to not do it. No, it's saying, okay, thanks for sharing. Get back on the horse and do what you can with what you got. Yeah, it's gonna take a little longer. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit further, but it's what we're here for. What are you trading your life for?
Right.
What about you, Melvin? What are you scheduling?
Uh, for scheduling, well, I don't know. I have a lot. Like my biggest things on my paper so far are more on my faith and family side. So, like for instance, on my faith side, I put take down walls, and I put take down walls because I feel like I have an issue with myself to where I have like walls around myself, and it kind of blocks the people that care about me and the people that want to be more in touch or just more closure in my life. So like family, for instance. And right next to that is I put being more socially present because I'm not as socially present as a lot of people my age, and that's kind of the wave now. And so it's not as it's not as like, it's not gonna work if I don't make that change, which is more uncomfortable for me, but it's would be more beneficiary in the long run because then I'll be in better touch with my aunts and the family members that are more farther out, but they're still family and they still care about me,
What's
whether
a
I don't
physical
think about it.
action you could take to be more present
Um,
or to
it could be
drop walls? What are you
it,
actually going to do? Are you gonna call them? Or are you gonna open up and be vulnerable?
yeah. So
What,
right
what is
next
that?
to that one, right underneath that one, what section did I put it under? I put make more calls slash efforts. Right. I'm not really a calling person. Like whenever I text, I like to get to the point. I like to like save as much time texting. If I could make the call, it would be best. But um, stuff like that, I should be making more. Like I should probably make a Facebook and reach out to my family that only uses Facebook and call them from Messenger and stuff like that, and explore the sides of my family, probably from my father's side or whatever mother's side, that oh, you're my cousin or stuff like that. Just being more in tune with like just the family. Um, yeah, my family one and my faith
When
one.
when would you make those calls?
When it could be when I get off. Usually, so I have a schedule already, so I would have to work around that. It wouldn't be too difficult because all that is in the touch of my hands. I don't really need to outreach and outsource. I have to do a lot of everything that I should be doing is right in front of me in my device. So I just need to just get on top of that. At
So
least
if you
for
don't schedule those things and you leave here and it's 3, 4 days later and this is just a concept and you're like, okay, cool story, bro, I wrote it down. Do you think that you're more likely to be connected and make those calls? Or do you think that if you actually pull up your calendar and carve out, hey, I know next Tuesday, I don't have anything planned, and from 6 to 9, somewhere in that time window, I'm gonna make 3 phone calls or 2 phone.
right,
The
yeah, it would definitely be more likely if I was to schedule it and have it in paper and then bring it into the world.
And
Um,
if you have like a calendar notification that reminds you, or if you're somebody that says, hey, I live out of my calendar and I can't do anything unless it's in my calendar because I've already promised my time.
right,
Now, if I live by my calendar, I'm not going to make any promises that I can't keep because I've already said yes. So I don't have to say no to anything. All I have to do is
right,
say, well, let me check. I've already said yes to this, this, and this. So it automatically means that that is a pebble or a rock or that sand that I can't put in my jar because it doesn't fit. So now I only have so much time. And it's pretty funny that sand is the time, right? But that is what we're talking about, right? So when would you make these phone calls? Would it be an ongoing thing or would it be a one-time project like what Jeff was talking about?
It would probably be an ongoing thing because yeah, I would have it like almost not levels, but there's some things that need my attention more than others. So I would just have to find which how I should order that. Like for example, I probably should reach out to like my senior family members or even the youngest ones because I feel like but those two parties the like like grandparents and stuff like that where they're on like a fine time or like the younger generation to where they actually need a role model or something to look up and an example almost and then for my fitness is minimize negative clouds lingering in the mind or the heart and then practice more memory slash numerical challenges. I have like a shit memory when it comes to like you could tell me your birthday and I might forget. I'm horrible with birthdays. Like my family's birthday is just super bad, and I'm like it's really embarrassing. I remember I was with this female 5 years. 5 years didn't remember her birthday. Not even.
Well,
That's like embarrassed. That's like
that's
I don't know.
exactly what we're talking about, Melvin, is when we think that we're going to remember, when we're left to our own devices called our memory,
Right,
it's most likely not going to be there when we need it to be there.
right,
We got so much going on, especially me and you, like moving so fast, especially you. You're like, you have so much going on, you have so much potential, but you need a system that you can pull from. And
right,
I've been hearing a lot of things that are just like the outcomes of what you want to be more present, do all these things. They're not actually practices that you could take that would be the result of that outcome. So focus on the disciplines and the actions that you could take in order to get more present, in order to be more connected, in order to do all of these things so that so you're answering so that, but what is the actual actions that you're putting into place?
uh the actions I would have to put into place at least for like the memories and the numerical stuff would be like starting files, making records of like these dates, important dates and times. And it would have to be just making more notes for myself that I could access and then to where I see it enough to where it's just already ingrained in my mind.
Okay.
And then probably exercises would help too, but I would have to look more into that stuff.
We're going to continue to work on these things together. And just to be very clear, we are going to hold you guys accountable to putting these things in your calendar. This is how you become the next version of yourself.
Yeah.
And very, very quickly, and y'all do need to get back on with your day. But this is the calendar that I don't typically use. But let's say that I was scheduling. This is on my computer, so it's going to be a little bit different on your phone. But you can schedule an event, schedule it at, okay, let's say that the 1 o'clock meeting, 1 to 2 p.m. And then you can actually repeat it. You can go to custom and you can have it like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every 4 weeks, whatever. And then you could have it end on certain days and you can repeat it. You can do it every 6 weeks. You can do it every 2 weeks. You can do it every week. You can do whatever you need to manipulate this calendar. And then now it's forever in there, forever and ever and ever, never ending. So you can actually get this system put in place very quickly and very easily by saying, okay, well, this needs to be on Wednesday every other week. This needs to be on Tuesday, every Tuesday. This one needs to be every single day. You got that light blinking behind you, Sean, up above your head.
Oh, yeah, my bad, my bad, my bad.
I didn't know. It was like, oh, something's dying. But I can give a master class on how to schedule things in Google Calendar because I'm always scheduling everything. I say, oh, I'll call you at 2 o'clock tomorrow. If I don't pull up my calendar and actually schedule that shit, probably not gonna happen.
Right.
And now I just made a promise and didn't have the decency, didn't have the respect. I know that it's probably not gonna happen because I live out of my calendar. You guys saw my calendar. It's this one. But look at this. I've actually poured it in my House Call Pro. And now I can turn that shit off. Oh, look, it's just my personal stuff. And then I want to overlap to make sure, and my other email is tied into here too. So I can turn that off and tie it in. If I have a significant other or a wife, I could turn hers on and now ours overlap. So I'm not double booking us. And now if I'm really playing all out, she's on the same page and we both are scheduling our stuff and I'm being voluntold shit all the time. She's seeing an open spot and she's booking shit for me. But this is my next week. So every other week looks a little bit different. You see my girls, I have them Mondays, Wednesdays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. But this week I only have them Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it's a little bit different each week, as every other week is how I run my life because of my kids and my ex-wife. So what are you guys going to put in the calendar? I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I'm not going to ask you guys to do this right this second, but this needs to be an ongoing practice. This thing will never end. This is how your life actually is dealt with at the highest level to make sure that you don't have anything left undone. You don't make any promises that you can't keep. This is called integrity. I give my word and a literal cheer comes out of my mouth because when I say something, it actually happens. Like no fucking around. You guys got any questions or any feedback about what we're going over?
No, I do have one question about I didn't write down the audible. I'm not sure what it was called. I don't know if you could text me it or.
It's called Elevate. Yeah, I'll text you a link for it.
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna do that
But
right.
other than that, me and Sean should probably get started or at least back up there. Coach, we still gotta, what's it called? See, what's the name? Chris, right? Or someone local was.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, and if you guys need to break off and go hit that, then go get that taken care of. Did you talk to him, Tony?
Yeah, I talked to him. I sent Jeff a message about it, but he's concerned because the leak is getting inside of his house, and I'm like, I don't know if that's coming from the gutter because he's got like 2 foot of soffit, and it's
Got it.
getting behind his glass door.
Yeah,
So
that's most likely a roof.
yeah, so I was like,
By the
hey,
way, we'll point him in the right direction.
right. While we're up there, we'll just check out, see if there's anything up with the roof. Otherwise, he just needs some stuff resealed. He's still got some leaks on the sides, and
How
you
far
know.
are you guys away from that, Sean?
About 30 minutes. So I plan on leaving here around 3.
All right, yeah, sorry to take up so much of your time. Hopefully this is impactful for you guys and it's not
No,
been a waste of
definitely.
your time.
Yep.
No, yeah, it was impactful.
Okay, awesome. So share with me what you guys are scheduling, and at some point I will be getting more involved. This is a drum that we're going to keep on beating. This is not a one-time training, okay?